All right, namaste. I'm so grateful to be here with you all. This is a special lesson for those of you who are professionals. If you're in the healing professions, if you're a therapist, if you're a yoga teacher, an educator, anyone in the service-based industries, and how you can stay grounded and tend to your own emotional mental needs while also holding space for others. So I just got off an interview because I'm doing an amazing new project, secret project. And I just got off an interview with Maria Sosa, who runs at Holistically Grace on Instagram, incredible therapist out of Florida. And we were talking about how, she's showing up on Instagram every day and really powerfully. She has a huge Instagram following, also a therapist, psychotherapist. And I was asking about her relationship to having this professional persona and showing up and offering support and inspiration and education. And at the same time, tending to her own needs and her own emotional journey, especially as we go through this crisis. We are on a global and a global unprecedented time. And so often, I've talked about this a lot in my chakra work, so often people in the healing arts and in the giving service-based industries are very oriented to the heart chakra. We are givers, we're nurturers, we're empaths. Often we are HSPs, highly sensitive people. And that is our superpower. That is part of what really makes you a great therapist or a great yoga teacher or a teacher or a healer, is that you are intuitive, you sense things, you pick up on things, and you're masterful at working with that. But the shadow of that, if it's not in balance, and by in balance, I mean you're grounded, you're centered in your own experience, you are processing your own emotions and feelings, and you're not giving out of a sense of need or a sense of lack, right? You're giving out of a sense of overflow and out of a sense of dharma or purpose. But often what happens is we tend to overgive. And this is what we would call an excessive heart chakra, where anahata is overdeveloped, or maybe it's a coping mechanism. I was actually also interviewing my friend Danielle Laporte for this new project, and she was saying how she, during this crisis, has really had to pull back and notice when she's tending to jump in to help friends or reach out too much out of a need to feel validated and to feel like people think she's loving and they think she's supportive. So she was addressing her own sort of codependent tendency. And that's very common with teachers, healers, and therapists, anyone in the healing arts. So I just want you to first take a moment and observe, like, does that resonate with you? Is that you at all? And so, in either case, we want to cultivate a sattvic or a balanced state of your heart chakra. So you are giving, but you're giving from a place of overflow. You're giving from a place of generosity. You're giving from a place of true inspiration. And so in saying this, I want to give you permission to pull back, permission to withdraw from any outer or generative force if you don't feel like that's where you are. So there were several times over the last year. My father passed away about a year ago, and there were several different phases where I had to literally pull off of social media, Facebook and Instagram, for over a month at a time. One, in the fall, in the summer, in the winter, and just completely pull my efforts inward and not have external reach. I didn't have the energy for it. I needed to tend to my own inner world, and not like it was some active healing process. It was just, I needed to reserve my energy for myself. So I wanted to give you this tip because right now, the most important thing is that you're always creating from your intuition, from your truth. So if you're putting posts up on Instagram, like some of these speakers that I have in this next project, and you're first, I love the term create before you consume. So, or we also talk in my Yoga Psyche Soul training a lot about feeding spirit first. So you are feeding your own inner spirit first. You are getting up and doing your sadhana, whatever that looks like for you. There's no one right way. It's your intuitive spiritual practice. Maybe it's, for me, it's right now going for a walk around my neighborhood. Maybe it's journaling for you, meditation, mantra, breath work, whatever nourishes you, reading inspirational spiritual books, doing some sort of practice in the morning, exercise, whatever is going to feed your spirit, whatever is going to first nourish you. You know, it's definitely putting the oxygen mask on first. And then if you feel inspired and if it's true for you, offering to your students, to your people from that place. But let it be that you are deeply rooted in the practices that are going to support you. The second piece of this is noticing when you're getting triggered, noticing if and what it is that might be activating for you. So yesterday, for example, I went on Facebook. I don't really go on Facebook that much, but I'm on here now. I'm in my groups, but I don't go on my personal page like ever. And I went on my personal feed and I was just kind of scrolling through, and it was so overwhelming to me because I had one dear friend from graduate school who is intubated right now with COVID-19, and I didn't even know he's been in the hospital for a month. I have, you know, two other friends, one's father who is in a coma, another person whose father-in-law is in a coma because of COVID. And I just came out of it and I was so overwhelmed and just feeling so much sadness, because many of us, as I mentioned, are empaths. We are very sensitive, or you might consider yourself a highly sensitive person, HSP. Most likely you have a strong intuition and you have a strong capacity for empathy, which is why you even chose to do this work in the first place, and it makes you good at it. But at the same time, we have to really monitor, and that's where you have to know yourself, your constitution. So for me, I knew I had to pull off of Facebook. I went in and asked for some nurturing from my partner, and can we just cuddle? Can I just like, whoa, this is so overwhelming. Naming our feelings. Of course, you guys know these tools because you're professionals, but naming these tools, naming your emotions, naming what's coming up, you know, any kind of breath. For me, it's always like, my boyfriend was laughing last night because I came in and I just gave this huge sigh. Sighing out, moving the energy out of your body, sounding out of your body, very important. Singing, chanting, yelling, making any kind of sound that your body wants to make. Breathing, shaking is an incredible tool to discharge energy in emotion. So literally just shaking for 5 minutes is one of the best things that you can do, just like a kid, just like an animal. So what are the practices for you? I want to end this with a share. What are the practices for you that are helping you manage your own overwhelm, sadness, grieving, anger, whatever you're feeling? Number one, I want to know what you're feeling. And number two, I want to know how you're managing it so that you can keep your own vessel strong and clear in order to be in service. And, you know, the last thing is, we don't have to do anything. I love these memes that I've seen on Instagram. You don't have to show up. You don't have to heal the world. You don't have to show up with inspiration every day. You know, really giving yourselves permission to keep it real, to be human, to be exactly where you are. Maybe you're sharing that messiness, maybe you're not, you know. I want to know what's up for you guys, how you're doing, and what tools are working for you, what emotions are coming up for you. Let's just share. Let's let this be a great space for community building, for support. And I'm here for you. I personally have been very inspired to offer, but I've been checking in with myself to make sure that I'm giving from a really pure place and not from some sort of need or instinctual, you know, feedback of like, I got to jump in, I got to help. No, it's coming from a place of deep inspiration and authenticity. So really be discerning with that. And that might change. And I might have to go offline for like a month or two. And that's totally fine too. So tell me where you are. Tell me what emotions you're feeling. And definitely tell me, number three, what tools are working for you to maintain stability, centeredness, groundedness during this time. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much. See you soon.